What it do, man? You already know who it is. It's Jacquees, and you're listening to JMG Live Music Lounge.
Hey, this is Dyro, and you're listening to the JMG Live Music Lounge.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Sean Waynes, and you are listening to the JMG Live Music Lounge. What's up, Mahomes?
Hey, this is C.T. Peterson. You're listening to JMG Live Music Lounge.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Joe Gotro, and you are listening to JMG Live Music Lounge.
It's your boy DJ Jacquees.
What's up, guys? It's your DJ producer Sanya Dali, live from Greece, and you're listening to the JMG Live Music Lounge.
JMG Live Music Lounge. Ready? Let's go.
JMG Live Music Lounge with Jacquari Harris. Hear it first with your favorite music artists and celebs, interviews and entertainment.
What's up? This is Felix Mahowski, and you're listening to JMG Live Music Lounge.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the JMG Live Music Lounge. I'm your host, Jacquari Harris, and we're back with our 14th episode with R&B newcomer Jacquees. You know, this is also the first episode since Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, so there's lots to talk about today. I also want to give a shout out to our listeners around the globe, including those in Germany, the United Kingdom, Netherlands, Japan, Brazil, Jordan, Mexico, Israel, and Canada. Now let's get ready for another hot episode.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
So right after the release of the last episode of the JMG Live Music Lounge with my interview with Sean Wayans on August the 25th, Hurricane Harvey hit Houston pretty hard. Sean was scheduled to perform at the Improv that weekend, the 24th through the 27th. He performed on the 24th, but ended up having to cancel his shows starting on the 25th and through the rest of the weekend. And that weekend, Harvey dumped, 27 trillion gallons of water on Texas, Louisiana, and it was just devastation everywhere, especially, if you were in parts of the city that flooded really bad, like the Energy Corridor, which is where I lived. That was where they released that additional water from those reservoirs. And our streets, Memorial, Eldridge, turned into just lakes. I had to evacuate my home on August the 29th, which was that following Tuesday. The water was still up high, and there was no way for me to get out besides by foot and then, by boat. So luckily, I was able to call, one of my best friends, Kane, and I told him the night before on the 28th, I said, this water is really high, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. So he said, I got you. I'm coming in the morning, and I'll have a boat. So he came that next day and brought some friends of ours to Houston because he was coming from the College Station area. And came and got me. And, I live in a townhome in that area. And as I'm leaving, I'm gathering some of my neighbors and telling them, hey, I have a boat. Come with us, and because we all need to evacuate. And so, some of my neighbors came, and everyone basically took what they could. Obviously we couldn't drive out, of the property because the water was so high on Memorial and in the Eldridge area. And so everyone just had a bag and what they could take, including myself. And, I helped one of my neighbors take, one of her dogs, and we walked out to Memorial where, we could walk. The water was up to about, I want to say maybe 3 feet or so. And from there, some of the people took boats to get to dry land. However, I stayed in the area after being rescued for like another 3 hours. There was an apartment complex in that Energy Corridor area off of Memorial called Parkside at Memorial. From that point, there were people hanging off the building, wanted to be rescued. And so I met these guys that were there with their boat, and they were wanted to rescue people. So I hopped in with them, and we spent like the next 2 to 3 hours rescuing people from that apartment complex. And I mean, from children to dogs, you name it. I mean, we were helping people get to dry land. And so it was just an unforgettable experience, especially, what I went through with Harvey. I was fortunate enough to, evacuate and then go stay with some family. But there's so many people right now that are in shelters and needing so many different things because they've been affected. Either they lost their car, their home, something. And luckily, we've had, so many fundraisers and celebrities and people who have contributed to, helping those who have been affected due to the storm. J.J. Watt raised $37 million through his Hurricane Harvey relief fund, and that fund was comprised of so many different contributions. Celebrities, of course. Drake donated $200,000. Jimmy Fallon and The Tonight Show donated $1 million. But it was ordinary Americans and citizens that really helped JJ's fund. I think there was over 190,000 individual donors, and donations started as low as $20 each. So, he had a very successful fundraising campaign. Then Janet Jackson, she's currently on her State of the World tour, and she donated the proceeds from her Houston concert on September the 9th to flood relief charities. And, that's my girl, so thanks, Janet. And then, of course, there was the star-studded hand-in-hand telethon that raised $44 million a couple of weeks ago. The telethon featured Beyonce, Justin Bieber, Stevie Wonder, Oprah, just to name a few, but they raised a lot of money. And that particular telethon not only raised money for Harvey, but the other subsequent hurricanes, Irma, Maria, all of that, because, at this point, we've all been affected by this, those in Puerto Rico who still don't have power, in addition to Florida. So now, if you're wanting to contribute or give back in some sort of way, there are some local events coming up in Houston. There's a Cocktails and Community Harvey benefit on September 30th this weekend at Belvedere. And then on October the 6th, Conda Super Disco is having a Harvey relief party with DJ Richie Houghton. And then there's a cook-off at Chapman and Kirby for Hurricane Harvey relief on October the 6th.
JMG Live. Music Live.
So my music headline for this week is on Fergie. Yes, Miss Fergalicious. She just dropped her second album, Double Dutchess Sing Double, The Visual Experience, on September the 22nd. Now, Fergie has always been known for her hip-hop infused pop sound with a little bit of attitude, a little bit of sass, and a little bit of soul, and she gives you all of that and more on this album. It's 13 songs, and I already have my favorite, which is called You Already Know, featuring Nicki Minaj. Now, this is definitely a dance, hip-hop collaboration that you just have to listen to. The song samples the 1988 Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock It Takes Two track, and it's really hot. I definitely like it, and it's one of my favorite songs that's out now, next to Cardi B's Bodak Yellow. And speaking of Cardi B, she just took the #1 spot on Billboard's Hot 100 away from Taylor Swift's Look What You Made Me Do. Now Cardi, she definitely deserves to be #1. That song has been hot all summer, and it's just continuing to do its thing. And I also hope that You Already Know with Fergie and Nicki Minaj climbs the charts as well. Now, back in January of 2011, the Black Eyed Peas were featured on the cover of JMG Magazine. I interviewed Apple D. App for that issue, and that was the first time that the Black Eyed Peas, obviously including Fergie, appeared in the magazine, and it was just a great issue. It was great to have them on the cover. So I hope Fergie kills it this year.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
So R&B newcomer and Cash Money recording artist Jacquees has taken 2017 by storm. His sexy single BED is doing its thing right now. The song has made its way to top 10 on urban radio, as well as making its debut on Billboard's Hot 100 a couple of weeks ago. The song has received millions of streams online, and the music video has reached over 21 million views. Jacquees is about to release his debut album next month, so the interview started with me asking him details about the album, including the title.
Well, the album title is called 4275. You could just be expecting a lot of great music, and the album is complete. This is my best work ever. I put my best foot forward. Of course, I put my best foot forward every time, but this one here is just special. And on the album, got Trey Songz on the album, Chris Brown, Gage Loaf, Young Thug, and I did some work with Darnell Jones, and I got some more special features on there too.
Oh, that's good, Jacquees. What's the meaning behind the name of the album, 4275?
Well, that's my address where I grew up in Decatur. You know, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, Decatur, the east side. So I just want everybody to know how I'm shaped. You know, I know when people read the title 4275, it's going to automatically make them think like, well, what's that? You know, and I just want everybody to go and, you know, do their research and be like, oh, well, that's his address in Decatur. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's why Jacquees cut like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why he coming like it is, because it shaped me like the man I am today. You know, 4275 shaped me to be the man that I am today.
And I know you just performed this week for your entire label. What was the reason behind the event and the performance?
That was just, well, we're trying to let different people from different TV networks see me perform, you know, just let them know that I can, you know, actually sound like my track live. You know, of course, I nailed it, of course, you know. And we got another one today. But just today, I'm bringing out my dancers.
Yeah, I saw the clip on your Twitter feed yesterday, and yeah, you killed it. You did a good job. I saw you dancing a little bit. How often do you try to incorporate dancing in your live performances?
Oh, I dance every show. I bring my dancers out on every live performance, except for if you catch me in the club, then, you know, you just catch me solo. But most part, the majority of my shows, I have my dancers.
That's what's up. And I know BED is still climbing the charts. The song has jumped from number 86 to number 69 on Billboard's Hot 100. How does it feel to have the song do so well?
It feels good, you know, just knowing this is a real true R&B song and that it's doing so well. It made me feel good. You know, it made me feel like that what I'm doing is the right thing. Of course, I know it is, but I feel like I'm about to bring R&B, like this type of R&B, all the way back. It just feels good to know it's doing some type of recognition.
Definitely. And since you mentioned that, how would you describe yourself as an artist to someone who's not familiar with Jacquees?
For someone that's not familiar with Jacquees, I would just tell them that I have a classic sound, you know, and that I make feel good music. You know, I talk about sex, love, those different topics, and I'm really singing, you know. I would tell them I got a different vibe.
And will you be on tour anytime soon?
We don't have no planned date yet, but we just ready to drop this album, and of course the album going to do well, and right after that we'll be ready to hit the road.
Well, we'll be definitely looking out for those tour dates. And you know, the country has gone through two major hurricanes over the past few weeks with Hurricane Harvey in Texas and Irma in Florida. Are you participating in any type of hurricane relief events or fundraisers?
Well, yeah, I actually sponsored one of my dancers, one of my young dancers, he lives in Houston, and his whole house got crashed down by the hurricane, you know what I'm saying? And we actually been sponsoring his family. Me and my manager been, you know, doing different things for his family and just making sure they're straight. We're actually still in the process, you know, helping them do different things that they're trying to do.
Yeah, that's good. Those hurricanes have affected a lot of people.
You know, I hope everybody that's in Houston is okay. You know, so I wish I could have did more. You know, if I had more, I would do more. You know, but what I got, I make sure we did something. And everybody else in the other states, other places that get hit by the hurricane, you know, my love, my heart go out to everybody in their family too. I hope everybody all right.
Well, we're getting through it. We're Houston strong, so I appreciate that. Now, are you single or are you dating anyone?
Nah, I'm definitely single. 23-year-old single man.
And who are some artists that have inspired you over the years?
Michael Jackson definitely has inspired me. You know, Chris Brown, Usher, Genuine, Temptation. You know, all the greats for the most part. Donnell Jones, everybody. Jagged Edge.
How has Chris Brown and Usher inspired you? Is it because they sing and dance?
They swag, you know what I'm saying, and they records for the most part it was their music. And then when I saw the videos how they coming, it was dope. You know what I mean? Me a fan. I was a fan before I even saw the videos, but I was young, you know, so I didn't even know what a fan was. I know I just liked the music. I didn't know they called it a fan. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I like these dudes. They dope. They inspire me. Chris definitely inspired me. Chris inspired me more than Usher did, though.
Yeah, Chris Brown does his thing on stage. He's a good performer. Now, Keke Palmer is in the remix video for BED. What made you decide to get Keke in the video?
I wanted Keke to be in the video because I had a song when I was young off my first mixtape. It was called Keke Twist My Hair. And my cousin Issa had a record called Keke Twist My Hair. And I just wanted to, you know, relive that. I always wanted to be like, damn, I want to get Keke Palmer in the video to twist my hair. You know what I'm saying? I know my fans would have wanted that too, so it was a perfect setup. You know, I was out there, I had met her, and she just came through and did for me. You know, we've been friends ever since.
So speaking of female entertainers, Cardi B is hot right now. What are your thoughts on Cardi B as a female MC?
I fuck with Cardi B. I think she's the hottest female out right now.
Definitely. Were you a fan of hers before Bodak Yellow came out?
You know, my sister them used to watch her on that show and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I knew who she was. And I had a show with her before Bodak Yellow and shit blew up. You know, so we been fucking with her. We been rocking with her. But it's dope when song blew up. You know, that shit hard.
The holidays are coming up. Do you have a favorite holiday between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve?
Yeah, my favorite holiday is Christmas. And probably New Year's now, too.
Are you one of those entertainers that like to perform on New Year's Eve, or do you like to do something more low-key that night?
If the money right, I'm going. But if it ain't, I'm going to just kick it. That's how I am.
I was checking out your social media pages, and your fan base is definitely getting bigger. What's the most outrageous fan experience you've had so far?
I done had so many crazy experiences. I've been faced all that stuff many times. Like, really, like, Lil Bow Wow status. Like, it's been so much, I don't even know. Man, I can't even think. Like, girls done did the most. Like, I mean, like, anything. It's always crazy at all my shows, especially on tour.
JMG Live Music Lounge.
Thanks for tuning in to the JMG Live Music Lounge. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode with Jacquees. Remember to follow me, your host, Jacquari Harris, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll see you next week.
Visit jmgmags.com to download the latest episodes of the JMG Live Music Lounge podcast. This portion of the show is sponsored by